We take a look at Revenge of the Mummy and 1999's movie, The Mummy, the movie that inspired the ride on episode 364 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? Glad you're on board with us today for another awesome podcast episode. My name is Chris. I'll be hosting today, and joining me, I have Lee.
Hello, everyone.
Tracy.
Hello.
And Darren.
What's up, Internet?
What's up, guys?
I was trying to think of a mummy quote, but I couldn't.
Right. You're all right. I haven't got any coffee, but we're all right.
Gotta get out of here. The Internet. It's real.
Yeah. So, like we talked about in the intro, we'll be discussing the movie and then the ride and all the awesome puns that come from that ride, too.
Yeah, I'm disappointed because up until last week, this was Darren's favourite ride. No, it's is it anybody's favourite ride anymore?
Nina's favorite.
Top
It's
three.
up there with, it's my top three.
It's Nina's favourite. That'll do for me.
This is one of my refuse to miss rides.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know.
Yeah. Cool. So, let's we'll take a look at the movie first. Tracy?
Yep. The Mummy was released on May the 7th, 1999, and had a budget of $80 million, and it made $415.9 million at the box office.
Yes, it was directed by famous Universal director Stephen Sommers and starred Brendan Fraser as Rick O'Connell, Rachel Weisz as Evelyn Carnahan, John Hannah as Jonathan Carnahan, and Arnold Vosloo as Imhotep.
Let's take a look at the plot of the movie, according to Wikipedia.
In Thebes, Egypt, 1290 BC, High Priest Imhotep has a love affair with, it says Ankh, but they seem to pronounce it Anuk-Sunamun, the mistress of Pharaoh Seti. Is that the first?
Yes.
There's Wikipedia for you, I don't know. So when the pharaoh discovers the affair, Imhotep and Anuk-Sunamun assassinate him. Imhotep flees while I can't keep saying these names over and over again. Anuk-Sunamun kills herself, intending for Imhotep to resurrect her. Imhotep and his priest steal her corpse and travel to Hamunaptra, the city of the dead, which isn't real, by the way. But the resurrection ritual is stopped by Seti's bodyguards, the Medjai. Imhotep's priests are all mummified alive, while Imhotep himself is sentenced to suffer the Homdai, the worst of Egyptian curses. He has his tongue cut out and is buried alive with flesh-eating scarab beetles. Imhotep is sealed away in a sarcophagus at the feet of a statue. I felt like that should have been foot. Mm-hmm. At the feet of a statue of the Egyptian god Anubis and kept under strict surveillance by the Medjai to prevent Imhotep's return. Are we going to discuss each of these bits in turn, or do you want to do it all at the end?
Can we do it at the end?
Yeah, I think it'd be quicker.
Interrupt if we need to.
Yeah.
In 1926, Jonathan Carnahan presents his sister Evelyn, a librarian and aspiring Egyptologist.
That's an Egyptologist.
Egyptologist?
Yes. Yeah, that's really a real thing.
It's a real thing? Okay,
Yep.
Cool. Sorry to any Egyptologists that I may have listening. If you are also message us, that'd be kind of cool. So he presents his sister Evelyn with an intricate box and map that lead to Hamunaptra. Jonathan reveals he stole the box from an American adventurer, Rick O'Connell, who discovered the city 3 years earlier while in the French Foreign Legion. Rick makes a deal with Evelyn to lead them there if they release him from prison.
Rick leads Evelyn and her party to the city, where the group encounters a band of American treasure hunters, guided by Rick's cowardly friend and rival, Benny Gabor. The expeditions are attacked by the Medjai, led by the warrior Ardeth Bey. Against Ardeth's advice to leave the city, the two expeditions continue to excavate. Evelyn searches for the famous Book of the Living, a book made of pure gold. Instead of finding the book, she, Rick and Jonathan stumble upon the statue of Anubis and the remains of Imhotep buried underneath. The team of Americans, meanwhile, discover the Black Book of the Dead, accompanied by Canopic? Or is it Canoptic?
That looks like Canopic.
There's lovely jars. Carrying Anuk-Sunamun's preserved organs.
Yes. At night, Evelyn takes the Book of the Dead and reads a page aloud, accidentally awakening Imhotep. The expeditions return to Cairo, but Imhotep follows them with the help of Benny. Imhotep returns to full strength by killing the members of the American expedition. Oh, by the way, there was a really bad anti-Semitic joke in there with Benny. Anyways, and it brings the 10 plagues back to Egypt. Seeking a way to stop Imhotep, Rick, Evelyn, and Jonathan meet Ardeth at a museum. Ardeth hypothesizes that Imhotep wants to resurrect Anck-su-namun again and plans to do so by sacrificing Evelyn. Evelyn believes that the Book of the Dead brought Imhotep back to life. The Book of the Living can kill him again, and deduces the book's whereabouts. Imhotep corners the group with an army of slaves. Evelyn agrees to accompany Imhotep if he spares the rest of the group. Though Imhotep goes back on his word, Rick and the others fight their way to safety.
You can't trust that Ardeth, by the way, because he's a man whore.
He is.
Yeah.
Imhotep.
I was just saying, Benny shows him the Star of David, and he offers him a bunch of gold to get him by. That was the really bad anti-Semitic joke. Anyways.
I went over my head. Imhotep, Evelyn, and Benny return to Hamunaptra, pursued by Rick, Jonathan, and Ardeth. Imhotep prepares to sacrifice Evelyn, but she is rescued after an intense battle with Imhotep's mummified priests. When Evelyn reads from the Book of Amun-Ra, Imhotep becomes mortal again, and Rick forces him into the River of Death. He actually stabs him in the stomach, is what he does.
Yes.
Imhotep leaves the world of the living, but not before vowing revenge. While looting treasure from the pyramid, Benny accidentally sets off an ancient booby trap. Booby trap, that's what I said, setting booby traps. And is trapped by a swarm of flesh-eating scarabs as Hamunaptra collapses into the sand. Ardeth rides away as Rick and Evelyn kiss and ride off into the sunset on a pair of camels laden with Benny's treasure, and Jonathan tries to kiss the camel.
Yeah.
That was a much quicker synopsis of the films that we've done on any of these so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it pretty much covers everything.
It does.
Pretty much.
Rewatching this, just such a good movie.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a romp, isn't it?
So well.
It's a lot of fun. It has it makes me feel like those classic movies from maybe the 40s, 50s, every once in a while, especially the opening sequence. Where she's sacrificing herself, and the weird gold painted as priests just look like they're like Alfred Hitchcock clones from the 40s. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun.
I think I'll get my only negative out of the way. The one thing that really lets it down is we were discussing, obviously the time it came out, the CG's a little ropey at times in it.
Lee was discussing.
I think especially at the end when Imhotep goes into that little sort of pool thing and changes back into the mummy. It's the liquid has that weird shiny CG thing from way back in the day, and it looks a bit iffy.
Yeah,
it's 20-year-old.
I always get this though, but when did Jurassic Park come out? When did Terminator 2 come out? And they're stunning and still are.
Right, real dinosaurs, real robot.
It's not a real robot.
Of course it is.
Real mummy.
I like how you didn't call her out on the real dinosaur.
Because they are real dinosaurs.
What's crazy though is that you have this, and I still think the mummy holds up fairly well CGI wise, and then you have you remember the Scorpion King?
No, that's awful.
Oh my god!
Have you gone and seen that recently? Just the Scorpion King, how he looks? It's really bad.
It's terrible.
It looks like a boss from a video game from 10 years ago.
Really bad.
Did we actually watch it?
Yeah.
Did we watch all of it?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Did I leave?
Unfortunately.
No, we had it on DVD as
Did I
well.
go to
We've watched
sleep?
it a few times.
We had it on DVD.
It's the Rock.
I know it is.
No, because we had a double box set of them.
Oh, that vaguely rings a bell.
We had the guy that made the Mortal Kombat video games do all our special effects.
I tell you what, the thing I found watching it last night, we've just finished watching Doom Patrol.
Oh, man.
Brendan Fraser has not aged well.
This is 20 years later.
Yeah, I know, but oh my god, it's funny to look at the same guy now. He looks totally different. You look at him then, and he didn't have a massive career, but I think he probably should have done. I think he plays that character really, really well.
Yeah, I think he could have got some kind of an action kind of deal going from that time, that time period specifically. It worked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he wasn't a bad actor. He does the action stuff well, and he does the comedic stuff well.
Yeah.
Good looking enough to play the romantic lead.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, he had I know he had personal, issues.
Yeah.
Like divorce and everything that
Yeah,
were
it was
really bad.
quite bad, wasn't it?
times.
Yeah.
I'll give him his due, though. He is awesome in Doom Patrol.
Oh, he's so good.
I haven't seen that.
It's
Oh,
more-
you gotta watch
he
it.
drops more F-bombs in that entire series than I think he's probably dropped in his life.
Yeah, I was going to call you out on that, but then no, all that stuff was probably only 15s.
Yeah, this is what another thing we commented. We were quite surprised that the Mummy was a 15. Because it's like, if you watch it, there's a lot of, I don't want to say childish humour, but humour that would normally
Slapstick
be...
humour.
Yeah.
Which fits with the era type of film.
But aimed at a sort of younger audience. Yet it's a 15, which I found weird.
What does that mean?
For us Americans?
Sorry,
15.
it's... So our ratings over here, you have U, which is anyone can go and see it. You have PG, which means anyone can go and see it as long as they have someone over 18 with them. We then have 12A, which means anyone under the age of 12 must have an adult with them. There's then 12, which means you have to be over 12 regardless of whether you've got anybody with you or not. And then 15, you have to be over 15. And then 18, you have to be over 18.
And that's it.
Yeah, because you guys only have, what, PG-13 and R, is that it?
We have
G.
G, PG. Is it PG-17?
No.
NC-17.
NC-17.
So wait, what do we have above PG? Just R?
Yeah. Well, PG-13. And
Yeah, because that's the weird thing, because I used to have an old Natural Born Killers poster that the R rating says anyone under the age of 17 must be accompanied by an adult. And I'm thinking, so at 12-year-old, you can go and watch Natural Born Killers. How unfair is that?
Yeah.
I totally have taken my kids.
But yes, anyway, so basically, what I was getting at was the comedy in it's quite slapstick, and you would look at it being aimed at a younger audience. Yet, if you went to watch that at the cinema, you would have to be 15 or over.
Some of it's pretty intense. Did you not notice?
No.
People being like desiccated and eyes and tongues removed.
I suppose.
Yourself and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe.
and ritual murder and.
I think we're so children today, so desensitized to these things.
yeah.
So let's just sidestep here real quick,
Yes.
right? So
Wise.
talking about the Mummy here. Now, this was such a great movie in comparison to
Don't
the
say it.
current Mummy we had
All right.
with our man, Tom Cruise.
Still have not seen it.
Don't really
Oh, you haven't?
No, we are going to. Well, I'm going to. I don't know whether Tracy wants to
I'll
or not.
multitask.
I
I'm not
will
really
watch
bothered.
it.
Have you seen it, Darren?
No, actually, I have not.
Then I guess we're not going to talk about it.
I haven't even seen the original yet, but it is on our list as Horror Nights prep.
Yes.
Okay.
And he'll
Cool.
bitch and moan about that one as well.
See, I really like... It's funny as well because I commented that there's a lot of slapstick comedy in it. Arnold Vosloo plays the part of Imhotep entirely
Comedy
straight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he
That
plays
works,
that
though.
role perfectly.
I think that works well, though.
It does. It grounds it.
Not only that, it gives a stark contrast because obviously he's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
And think about, just 100 years ago, how different people were. So you do have, it gives you that division of ages, if you like.
Yeah.
Or time periods.
Yeah, and I can't get my words out properly.
And good comedy always works that way.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
have somebody there
Yeah.
just playing the straight man.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take a quick break before we come back to UUOP Theater.
Mouse and Muggle Travel Company, our services are completely free to you. We don't just do Universal. We can do Disney. We can actually do anything. I don't know if anybody knows that. We can do anything. We can book absolutely anything, and it's super easy. We have a website. Just go to mouseandmuggle.com, and we have a link there for a free quote request. You just fill it out. That email comes straight to me, and either Robin or I will handle it, or if we're a little bombarded, then we'll send you off to one of our expert agents. But we'll take good care of you. So reach out to us at any time.
Welcome back. So we looked at the movie I think we should dive into the attraction now, based on the movie. Darren?
Yes. In 2002, Universal Parks and Resorts set about designing a dark ride based on the popular Mummy movie franchise. As part of this process, Universal Studios Florida closed Confrontation on September 8th, 2002. Revenge of the Mummy opened at Universal Studios Florida on May 21st, 2004.
So, in other words, you realise that the Mummy
Yeah.
had only been open 4 months the first time we rode it.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. This Revenge of the Mummy roller coaster uses 3 linear induction motor launches to propel riders from a complete standstill, and it lasts nearly 3 minutes and features a top speed of 45 miles an hour, which is 72 kilometers an hour.
Which it feels a lot faster, I think,
It
especially
does.
that backward section feels
Yeah.
really
Uh-huh.
quick.
I think that's like the fans, right?
Probably.
Ah, yes.
I think that's what they said during like the ride. What is it?
The
back
production tour.
production tour, that one.
Yeah, I really want to
That
do
they-
that.
There's fans in there that blow in your face at certain points to simulate that you're going much faster than you really are.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well,
really
if it works.
clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of similar to what we talked about 2 weeks ago with Spider-Man, when the bit when you get blasted up into the building is the same thing. You
Yeah.
get blasts of, and it really does fool your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the track is 2,200 feet long, which is 670 meters, and it features no inversions, but it does contain some 80-degree banked turns. That's quite a banked
Quite
turn,
steep. Yep.
and a 50-degree angle of descent.
At the end of the ride, there's an area where guests may purchase a photo of themselves on the ride from a mummy-themed gift shop titled Sahara Traders, which replaced Confrontation's Safari Outfitters gift shop.
And you can tell everyone who rides that ride and knows where that camera is because everyone
Oh,
looks for the
yes.
camera.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single time.
You can always
You can
tell
also-
fans of it.
I always
Yeah.
look at the wrong side every time. I don't know.
You can also
On
buy
purpose,
bugs
though.
in that
Yeah.
store to eat.
No, not on purpose.
The 6-story, 62,000 square feet, which is 5,800 square meters building, housing the roller coaster, as previously mentioned, how many previously? Home to one of Universal's landmark and opening day attractions, Confrontation. Homages to the attraction can be found in several areas within Revenge of the Mummy, including a golden statue of King Kong in the second scene of the ride.
And I have still not seen that.
Right. When you're going into
You can
the-
tell me where it is.
Yeah,
I want to
but
see
you
it.
have to turn your head.
Then when we're on it,
And it's only about that big. It's only little.
then when we're
There's
on
also a
it,
banana.
It seems like
Tell
it's
me.
bigger to me now. I don't know.
Maybe they moved it further forward.
Maybe.
Perspective.
Darren, have you ridden the Mummy this last couple of times you've been?
Yes.
Did you look for it?
Yes.
And you think
It's
it's
there.
bigger?
I feel like it is.
I think
feel
once
like
you see it, you just always look there.
maybe that's what it is.
Mhm.
Maybe.
It seems huge to me now, though. Now, what I can't see every time is the little flash of ET
All right, yeah.
That is there.
that is there for sure.
I've never seen
Yeah,
any of
I
these
mean,
things.
So you have to like really be straining your neck and see it like as you leave the room, I think.
Mhm.
The slabs used to construct the building were the largest of its kind ever used, and track pieces from Confrontation were built into the building during construction, and therefore parts of the track still remain within the building as well. They will show you that on the production tour and VIP tours, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
In order to compensate for space, part of the building was excavated several feet deep for the ride's climactic drop.
Okie dokie, let's take a look at the queue and pre-show. So, guests enter the ride by entering the massive Museum of Antiquities facade. Now, you do actually go through the front now, don't you? Not to the side. Is that right?
Right.
Because
Yes.
like
the
we
side is the lockers now.
right, yeah. So obviously this has changed slightly because last time we did it, we went
Yeah, went through the.
like the whole weird.
Yeah, there was loads of lovely extras.
Yeah, that you hardly ever get to go through. So yeah, the Museum of Antiquities facade, browsing through the film setup of a fictional sequel titled Revenge of the Mummy, which is probably better than the actual sequel. The film's props, molds, and concept drawings are on display inside.
TVs around the studio play a video explaining how the original Mummy film was made, and most importantly, how the film's fictional curse seemingly was proven to be real while filming, with various accidents and plagues striking the cast and crew.
Was it locusts? Plague of locusts. They don't do anything.
What?
No.
We watched the
Getting
film.
the
There's like that
dragons.
massive plague of locusts. Like, what have we done? And it's like the locusts, they don't do anything.
They eat crops,
Yeah.
not people. Brendan Fraser is sceptical, though, and refuses to wear the Medjai symbol that the crew and locals are convinced will protect them from the curse. Brendan steals crew member Reggie's Medjai necklace. Why, if he doesn't believe in it? And demands a coffee, which craft services would not serve him before, since he was not wearing the Medjai symbol. That's why he stole it. So if I'd just waited,
Yeah,
and
because he
been
wanted
patient,
his coffee.
I'd have known.
I did not know any of this, by the
No.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never have to wait this long anymore to actually see any of this stuff.
Actually, I only found this out when I did the production tour.
Right.
Like they actually tell you a little bit about the story. I'm like, oh, okay, this kind of makes sense now.
Yeah. Reggie injures himself in a freak accident later in the video and is seen being trapped inside a sarcophagus prop in the background near the end of the video. The inside queue morphs into a 1940s archaeological dig inside an Egyptian tomb where guests climb to the second floor to board mine carts utilizing individual lap bars.
That section of the queue is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So cool when it's
Yeah, like the flickering lights and the
Yeah.
like the chanting builds up. It's like I don't even think it's in these that I wrote, but that I think it's one of the only attractions. Oh my god, this takes me something I meant to mention last week with Killer Clowns. One of the only queues where there's like an interactive element in the middle of it. So it takes two people to set that off that sets something else off.
Yeah.
Like something else. Let me get this right. So two people have to put their hand on that thing in the middle, don't they?
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
charges the button that's over there that
The
someone
scarab
else
button.
blasts somewhere else in the
Yeah.
attraction. So,
So it's a four-part thing.
Yeah,
really.
it's awesome. How cool is that?
But that's not true.
It's not true?
I'm sorry. It's not.
Go on.
The two-hand thing triggers an effect in the room that's like thunder and like a couple of flashes of light and stuff
Alright.
like that.
Oh, I assumed
And it reveals right above that a bunch of like writing and everything. It's underneath a scrim that it was backlit.
Right.
The other ones are just on like a recharge timer because
Aw.
it's just a compressed air timer. Yeah, it's gotta.
You just broke
recompress.
Lee's heart.
You
I'm
did?
sorry.
because that
And
would
then
have
there's
been
the other
cool.
like, yes, and then there's the other cool like hologram of treasure, and you go reach your hand in there and it blasts
Yeah.
you as well.
Because this was what I didn't mention it last week when we were talking about Killer Clowns. That when they go through the ship and there's that red button and one of them has to press it, and there's someone get a blaster
yeah.
there. I want to see that in that house somewhere. Because I remember going through the queue at Halloween Horror Nights,
Yep.
and they had actual actors in the queue, like scare actors in the queue at that point.
Who must have been bored because there was only us in there.
And when you get that, because it's another one of those attractions like the Tower of Terror over at Disney, where the team members play as much a part of that attraction as the attraction itself.
Oh, yeah.
And like when you're bored and the
And the thumb
vehicle
down.
goes up and they do the
Love it.
thumb down thing, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Love that.
So onto the ride. As the ride begins, the minecarts move into another room inside Imhotep's tomb, where Reggie, obviously as we learnt previously, a Revenge of the Mummy crew member who was missing on set, is seen partly mummified and warns the riders.
Are you insane? Get out of here. The curse is real. This whole place is a trap. He's after your souls.
Before Reggie can finish, Imhotep then comes out of a sarcophagus, prompting Reggie to desperately instruct the riders.
Look for the Magi symbols. It's your only hope.
But Imhotep cuts him off, shouting,
Silence.
And sucking out Reggie's soul. And then reminds the riders.
With your souls, I shall rule for all eternity.
Eternity.
ah. The cars then move into a second room where there is treasure on the left and right sides of the car, and apparently,
And also common.
yes,
And a banana.
Imhotep appears from the sand in front of a tomb mural and tempts riders.
Serve me and savor riches beyond measure.
Light appears across the room, revealing treasure. Imhotep also sternly states,
Or refuse and savor a more bitter treasure.
Soldier mummies appear in front of the treasures as he utters an Egyptian curse.
You can't hear because everything comes up and it's really loud, so you don't need to hear that part.
Yeah, you do.
Akude Murakadra!
That was really good.
Thank you.
At least we know what it is now.
I never knew what that was until today.
I don't think we still know what it is.
Not really.
I'll put it to Google Translate, see what comes up.
That's a good point.
The cart then quickly moves into another room where the mine cart hits a wall and scarab beetles, or one beetle sometimes, come pouring out of the wall in front of the riders. The cart then drops backwards into another room where it stops.
Imhotep appears again on the screen above the riders, moving across the screen to the back of the room while the ride vehicle turns 180 degrees to follow him. Imhotep warns.
Not even the Magi can save you now. There is no escape. Your end shall be my beginning. Behold your fate. Will this be your destiny?
Then the ride catapults guests up to 40 miles per hour while Imhotep shouts,
Your souls are mine!
Quick question.
Go on.
What if you've already sold your soul?
Oh, well, he can't have it then, can he?
Okay then.
He's like, oh, damn, off the ride.
Oh, shucks.
The minecart passes through Imhotep's skull, a fog display, and drops through various turns while speeding past projections of mummies and fire.
Of course.
The cart comes to a stop after this, and a female ride attendant appears behind a glass control booth and thanks them for riding. But Imhotep sucks out her soul. Rude. Breaks the glass and sets the ceiling on fire while shouting,
Prepare to forfeit your souls. Death is only the beginning.
So in that one scene there, we have two universal staples. You get a water sprinkle that for the glass break, which I love.
Yeah.
I love that
Yeah.
effect. It's dead simple, but it's really effective. And fire.
Yeah.
It's not a universal attraction if you haven't got water and fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, not water, it's a fire retardant. Just in
Yeah. And
You know,
some
it's
days
funny,
it's an
when-
accelerant.
Yeah.
We got stuck in that room. I think I've said it before.
Oh, yes.
We've gotten stuck in there for about 2 minutes, and it was boiling hot. But one of the funny things, which now every time I go inside that room, I'll never stop thinking about it, is just the way that room resets. You know, you'll have just the window kind of slowly going up and just the mummy just looking at you. Doesn't do anything, just staring at you. And for some reason, it was the funniest thing to me, just seeing that window going up and down, up and down.
Did it play the whole thing out every time, though?
Yes, every time.
Oh, man.
It was great. I mean, it was hot as hell. I thought we were going to die, but it was great.
But I will say something about this section of the ride. As far as I am aware, this is possibly the only ride in the world that has this. A fake stop in the middle of the
Oh, yeah?
attraction.
Yeah.
Like a fake ending.
Yeah. It's brilliant. I remember the first time
And
we rode
whenever-
it, I was blown away by it.
I love taking people that haven't ridden it before, if we
Yeah.
ever do that,
Yeah.
and then just kind of pretending like that's the stop and
Yeah.
asking, what'd you think?
Mhm.
That's the best way to play it, actually, yeah.
Mm.
I think the Tower of Terror kind of does. It's like on a certain drop of that, it opens and it looks like it's going to be the end, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
But for an actual, on a roller coaster type thing, to actually pull up to an attendant booth and say, right, that's it, off you get.
Yeah.
It's
Krusty. The Simpsons ride does that too,
does it?
Yes.
right? Yeah. It's like, this is the end of the ride. Oh no, we have to drop you off at a gift shop.
Ah, you're right, actually.
Which is probably
so
a bit of
everyone
a-
just proved me wrong. In fact,
Well,
I've
it's
just
not
proved
like a
myself
moving
wrong,
ride.
and then Chris has just moved me wrong as well.
It's your bit.
When did
Alright.
The Simpsons open?
After.
After this.
Well, yeah, obviously, because we were there 4 months after it opened and we were riding Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah, true.
Crikey.
It was the first one to
Great
do
bit.
this then. Mate. I'm
Yeah.
the mate, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. The ride started again. Okay, go ahead.
The cart then drops down 39 feet, the highest drop in the ride, and goes down a winding drop until a Magi symbol appears while Imhotep shouts.
No!
Oh, was
As
that
the
Darth-
vehicle passes through the Magi symbol, then, oh wow, okay, well that's a weird period. Then passengers travel through a tunnel of flickering lights with a screen in front of them. Rick O'Connell, as portrayed by Brendan Fraser, appears and tells the riders, "Hey, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I would have enjoyed this interview a lot more if I'd gotten my cup of coffee."
Suddenly, a cape passes over the screen. A cape? And Imhotep's arm offers Fraser a cup of coffee. As Fraser screams and falls back into his chair, the screen fades to black, while riders hear Imhotep roaring over Fraser's screams. Riders are then directed to exit through an actual unload station. At the exit of the ride, riders see a missing persons poster with a picture of Reggie on it.
Awesome.
Poor Reggie.
Oh.
Real quick, fun fact about his scream at the end. He does yell, "That feels good."
Really?
Yes.
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 And once you hear it, you'll never unhear it.
Who
It's him
hears
yelling.
that?
Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser.
Ooh, that
It's the
feels
weirdest
good.
thing. He screams out, "That feels good," but
Yeah, he's
while
like,
he's
"Ah,
yelling
that
at the
feels
same
good."
time.
Yeah.
Well,
What was Imhotep doing to him at that point?
Yeah.
Who knows?
can't
Maybe it
can't
wasn't
bring
it.
myself to say it. It's there because I don't trust you to.
What was in that coffee? Raw hypnol?
I was going to say sucking him dry.
Oh, God.
Sucking the soul out of him.
Yeah, but not where you normally suck it out from.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Bleep something out here.
That's not where
Took the
man got
brains
sucked
of
out of.
the nose. Ancient Egyptians took brains out of the nose, so maybe souls come out unexpectedly.
Oh my god. Why does it always degenerate into filth on this show?
Because we're all adults.
I still, one of the best things, and it's not even a memory, it's not even my memory, but Chris, you were there, that setup that Michelle kind of organised when you were all there for Horror Nights last year, the little Producers Club meetup, and they got on the ride and did the UUOP YMCA type thing, was so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about
We
that.
need to organise as part of the weekend, see how many vehicles we can take over. How many people per vehicle does this hold?
12. 3 rows of 4.
So we're potentially taking over more than 4 vehicles.
That's
I
awesome.
imagine so.
And every vehicle has to come up with something. So we'll set a task.
Wait, the mummy's got more than 4 seats across, doesn't it?
I thought
No,
it was
maybe
only 4. No, I thought it was three rows of 4. It's quite a square
it
little.
only goes 4 across, but I don't remember how many rows.
I'm pretty sure it's only 3.
1,
There we go.
2. Oh, there's 4 of them. It's 4 rows.
4 rows of 4.
Yeah.
4 rows of. Wait.
Right? Do I not know how to count? Or
Oh,
I
you're
could be
right.
wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Well, that's 2 runs together. Okay. Yeah. Huh. It feels like when you're walking across it, there's like 6 seats or something.
Two cars though, aren't there? If you there's 4 rows of 4, but then 2 cars.
They don't go together.
I think the 2 join together, aren't they?
No.
No,
They load 2 up, one goes, and then the other one goes.
I have no
Because
idea.
it-
It's been
because
4
it-
years since I've
Because
ridden
it
the bloody
catches
thing.
up when you're coming back into the station.
Oh, Darren, you were only there last week.
Yeah, right? Who knows?
So yes, potentially we're taking over.
3, 4 cars.
Either way.
What? How many did we say? 4 rows of 4 is
16,
what? 16,
32,
48. You're probably getting
4 cars.
4,
If everybody's riding.
4.5, and task everybody with coming up with a group action or something they can do, and we'll get the pictures at the end because we've got the photo pass for the weekend.
Oh, yeah, we're
so
going to get all the pictures.
that could be fun. I'm still looking forward to rocking up to the front of these attractions, and when they ask how many, you go 55.
Oh, so fun. In
Oh,
black. Really? Okay. Oh.
I'm waiting to do that Men in Black, and it to be the same guy from the first time all those years ago.
You
And
keep
just go,
saying that.
God, I thought my first day at work was bad.
Yeah.
And this one's my last day.
Yeah.
A quick funny story I had about this is one time we brought a friend on this during Halloween Horror Nights. This is a long time ago when I first opened, my friend Miguel, and he doesn't do roller coasters. And we were able to, we had a couple of drinks during Horror Nights, so he wasn't really paying attention to anything. And we just kind of stood in front of any signs that said, like, warning, this is a roller coaster, because there are several as you go through the queue. So we just kind of stood in front of those and diverted his attention and everything and got him on it. And, you know, at the beginning, it goes through like the dark ride kind of part. He had no idea what was coming. And If I can ever find the picture, because that's one of the few ride photos I've ever purchased because of the look on his face was so hilarious. If I can ever find it, I'll definitely post it up on our Facebook page. But,
Awesome.
But yeah, that it was a blast. Just listening to him scream and everything. So yeah, it's if you're a little strategic with it, you can get people that don't normally do those things on there, and it's a lot of fun.
So I'm trying to think, because when I remember seeing ads for this when they first built it, because they dubbed it like the first psychological coaster, didn't they? Because it taps into, what was it? It was fear of insects, fear of darkness, fear of I want to say confined spaces. There was quite a few.
Yeah. Triggers.
So it was like the world's first, like phobia coaster. I just think it's a lot of fun. I don't think there's anything particularly scary about it. And even if you don't do coasters, it's not too intense. I think it's probably because it's inside, isn't it?
And in the dark.
It feels more. It's like Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Like Space Mountain is like 10 miles an hour or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the lights are off.
But like the coaster parts in it aren't particularly long.
Yeah. But they are. I mean, they feel intense, like what you said, with the fan effect and everything like that. It feels like an intense coaster. If you normally don't go on coasters, I would give yourself a minute of pause before going on this.
If you break it down into its parts, they said it was like nearly 3 minutes. They cram a lot in because it's a dark ride, it's a coaster.
It's a show.
You've got that stop in the middle as well. You know, it crams a lot in that 3 minute ride time.
It does.
Oh, and brace yourself at the scarab scene, because that stop is a hard stop.
Yes.
And if you're not ready for it,
I always wondered if it was like that from the beginning. Or just the brakes got worse.
To like hit the wall. I think the effect used to be a lot more pertinent there, because in the front there's actually a little hole in the wall that they have like a bunch of like scarab things fall out of sometimes.
It's like a letterbox.
Yeah, like an actual, and they actually had like real scarabs come out of that thing. I haven't seen it actually work.
Real ones?
Yeah, well, yes, real scarabs.
Yeah.
Like plastic ones, but I mean like
you watch them pour out.
Oh yeah.
Physical prop. And it used to be like a ton of them when it first started, and then a few popped out, and then now it's just like a
that's
projection.
Well, no, I still see them, but I feel like it's like there's wherever they drain out to sometimes gets clogged, and someone with a stick just kind of hits it. Because I've been there and I've seen like 5 to 10 beetles come out. I've seen literally one beetle just flop out of there, like just all lonely by himself.
I would be.
And sometimes it's just none.
If that happened, if that happened, you'd just be absolutely howling. Like, can you imagine if that was the first time riding it?
Not even the Magi can save you now. Bloop.
From what? One beetle?
Yeah.
You couldn't even get John Paul and Ringo and George. I forgot about George.
And if you
that was George.
And if you want to get technical, it was Stuart Butwell.
I didn't want to get technical. I was just trying to be funny.
Only some people know that.
I'm looking forward to riding. It was one of those, I remember, because I wrote a trip report for the first time we went over, and I remember, I think we rode it like 4 or 5 times, and I wasn't overly impressed with it. And I think I remember writing, rode the Mummy again, thought it was all right, but obviously thought it was better than I'm saying it was all right, because we rode it quite a few times. I don't think it's ever anything that's ever blown me away. I do like riding it, but it's not in my top 3.
Like 4 out of 5. Pretty good.
I don't. Yes, Chris. he's all with the deep cuts tonight, Chris, isn't he?
Sorry.
I like it, but it's not one of my favourites. And I feel that when we get over in October, it's going to get pushed even further down.
This is very disappointing.
I'd be interested.
Down under the sands of Egypt.
What?
Okay.
Very disappointed.
I still love this ride. I love it. I love saying the words along with it. Oh, sorry for the people that ride with me.
Yeah, I feel like people hate me when they ride next to me.
Yeah, but you got to talk. When Reggie says his deal, you got to do that. You got to do when the room spin. You're doing the spin around on the track.
Not even the Magi can save you now. The end. Yeah,
all that stuff.
Oh, hello,
See,
Luna.
Luna loves it too. Yeah. It's one of her favorite things. So
It's like I love that. It's another one of those things that if you're not paying attention, you won't notice it. But when you come round the corner where the Reggie comes out of the sarcophagus, there's that brief shadow,
shadow.
at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
that
Yeah.
because I think it's one of those things that not a lot of people notice.
Blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, it's so cool when you do see it.
yeah.
I'm looking for. I can't wait to ride it again, but it's definitely. I wouldn't even say it was in my top 5.
Fine, you can hold the coats while
Really?
I go on
I
it.
didn't say I didn't want to go on it.
You can go on Rip Ride Rocket and I'll go on that and we'll meet back in the middle.
Oh, well, I'll drag Michelle over there then.
Yeah, you
Ride
and Michelle
Rocket.
go on Ride Rocket.
You what, Darren?
Is Rip Ride Rocket above this for you, Lee?
Oh my god! I'm going to say, ask me in the middle of October. I feel I need to ride these things again before I make a decision because that is a tough question for me.
The queue alone should change your mind on that one, personally.
Yeah, Rip Ride kills it in that area. Love that ride.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know, actually.
So now we have our segment when we come back. Lee's top 5 rides after the Weekender.
Potentially followed by the details of Lee's
The
divorce.
thing is, the thing you've got to consider is it's been 4 years since Tracy and I were out there. So whenever we talk a lot about these rides, we've ridden them a lot, but we're remembering them from memory, and memory isn't perfect. So it is going to be interesting to get out there and get on these things again because, like Darren kind of alluded to there, it's been a couple of years since he's been on a lot of these things, and you start doubting, you start second guessing yourself when you see, is that new or have I just not noticed it because it's been that long since I've been?
Yeah. That was me on Forbidden Journey the other day. It's like, was this like this before? I don't remember. Yeah.
Because you think you know it well enough because, like, for you, Darren, when you had your annual passes with Nina, that first time, you were there 2 or 3 times a month. And you think, like, I know this ride like the back of my hand because I've ridden it that much. And then when you haven't ridden it for a year or 2, or like in our case, 4 years, things you think you knew, you're like, I'm not sure now. Was that? I don't know whether that was there or not. And you see, we were actually watching... completely off topic, Tim Tracker's video tonight, and he was on Winnie the Pooh. And it's probably been 10 years since we've ridden that thing. And there was a bit in there, and I was like, I don't remember that. Is that new? She's like, no, it was there. Are you sure? I think that might be new.
Yeah.
But it's like that. So I don't know. I'd have to... Like, I'm thinking about Gringotts at this point and trying to compare and contrast the two in my head at this moment in time. And my answer is, I don't know, Darren. You will have to ask me again when we come back.
All right.
Well, that's going to be our cliffhanger for this show.
Hey,
I think
you don't need everyone to like things equally. You all love it. I don't mind it. That's where we sit.
Yeah. We have to have something to argue about on the show.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing.
You're just wrong. But, you know.
There you go, Tracy.
Where is it on your list? Darren, it's your number 2, I'm assuming, at this point.
No, Mummy was never... Was Mummy my number 1? Did I end up on that?
I thought it was.
I don't think so.
You said it on episode number 7 of this show, remember?
He wasn't on episode 7 of this show.
Transformers was my number 1.
Oh, yes.
So I would say it's now my number 3.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's 2 or 3.
What's your 1? Forbidden Journey? Or Men in Black? Chris, while she's thinking, where's
Forgot
it
about
for
Men
you?
in Black.
Hagrid's is my number 1.
Oh, man.
So where's Mummy?
I want to say top 3, but I forgot about Men in Black.
Yeah. I need to ride stuff again because I'm just... Because
Stealing
that
mine.
little thing of Spider-Man is squeaking in my ear as well. And...
Yeah.
So it's top,
Stormforce and
right, it's definitely top
Celatron.
4.
Right.
Nobody mentioned anymore because I'm not going into top 5 territory because that's just embarrassing.
Because a lot of it comes down to your sensibilities change. So something that you loved 4 years ago, you might ride and go, oh, I thought it was all right. And something that you was like, stop being disgusting.
Didn't say a word.
I saw your face. Shut up. And something that you thought was all right, you might ride again and have a completely new appreciation for. Like, in fairness, doing this show, delving into the rides and stuff like we are, gives you a better appreciation. So the next time you ride something, you might go, all right, you've liked this a lot more than I realised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right for you lot to get to go regular-ish.
Like every 2 years.
Well, you'll be
Darren.
on it in a few weeks.
And
Well.
because Darren, sorry, I know I keep cutting you off, Chris.
No, it's
Darren's
okay.
allayed my fears already because I had my panic on about how long is it going to take to get our annual passes and then get our tickets and everything sorted and get on. And Darren's like, 5 minutes, it'll be sorted, you'll be there.
Well, if you want to ride with Lee on the Weekender, you can, because there's still tickets available.
Well, there might be.
So, well, maybe.
As a recording, there is.
Yeah. So run, don't walk. You can go over to UUOP, and scoop up your tickets or ticket there. We'd love to have you join us. And we will end with another Universal Is from Ashley Merritt. Now, if you want to be involved, just send us your answers to what is Universal to you in 3 words or less, and send it to podcast@uuopodcast.com. And Ashley says, Universal is my happy place. See you next week.
Cut, print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.